Hi there, well welcome to my favorites video. As you can tell, it's going to be a lot different today. I had to completely change where I film because my normal filming camera is broken. I thought it was a really simple battery issue, but it's not. So I decided to move here to my den just in front of this big window, and the sun's really in and out today, so we'll see how it goes. But in any case, I have got a lot of things to get to today, so let's just go ahead and dive into it. As always, I have both beauty and lifestyle favorites, and as I talked to you about previously, I am going to be combining a few months worth of favorites videos into one. So I talked about maybe doing it more like a quarterly favorites, and this first one's going to include a little bit more than 3 months, but basically the general idea. So what I have for you today are things that I've purchased in December, January, February, and March. So I'm going to kind of just call this a first quarter favorites video. And I do have it divided into beauty and lifestyle, and I'm going to go ahead and start with the beauty products first. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is something that I purchased on our cruise in December. I always like to buy a fragrance when we go on a really special vacation, because that way when I get home and I use it, I think about where I was when I got it, and it kind of always brings back those memories. So on our cruise at the cruise gift shop, I purchased this Dior Addict perfume, and it just has a really fresh spring and summer fragrance to me. The main note that comes through to me is grapefruit, so I just really loved it. And when I bought it, I thought I would save it until the warmer time of year, but I started using it immediately, and I've been using this, I would say, nearly every single day, and pretty generously at that, and it's only gone down a little bit. It has a really nice fine mist. It's not a heavy fragrance. I would say it's almost more like the lightness of a body spray, so it's not something that really lasts with any kind of boldness throughout the day. But for this time of year, I think it's absolutely perfect. And of course my husband loves it, because I always like him to wear like what I'm wearing too, and he just thought this was a really nice fragrance. And I just have never really had anything that had that sort of grapefruit note to it, and I thought it was so just different, and I love the way that I smell. So that has been a definite favorite. And then something else that I purchased right before we went on our cruise was a train case. I've been wanting for a long time just a really traditional train case to sit on top of a counter, a vanity for traveling. And so I have a makeup bag that I really like that's smaller for travel, but I knew for this week-long trip, I really wanted to have a lot more items, and I wanted to be able to see them in a certain way on the countertop. So just a few different things. So I did some research, and I came across this Persen train case, excuse me, and it had a lot of things that I really was looking for in a train case. I wanted something that was like a plastic PVC coating so that it wouldn't get dirty, and that's both inside and out. I wanted a top handle. I wanted something that had maybe an outside storage zipper, which this one does as well. And then I also wanted something that had some structure to it, which this does. Not a lot of train cases these days are more hard-sided. This is not so stiff that it can't be pliable, but it does hold its shape, which I really like. I really didn't want one soft that was kind of going to fold in on itself. And then the really great thing about this one as well is that it not only has this top clear zipper portion here so you can see everything inside, but it's got a lot of pockets all the way around the edge. So this just ended up being an absolute dream to have on my vacation. It fit all of my makeup perfectly. I didn't really have to pick and choose or not bring anything that I really wanted to. I wanted to have a lot of options, and this just had the perfect amount of space, and it also kind of held everything snugly together so that things weren't moving around. But it was just a really, really nice piece to have, and I know I'm going to use this for a lot of years to come. I will say one thing. I think this is a really nice quality train case, but I honestly do have to say I think it's a little overpriced for what you're getting. So I purchased mine through Amazon, and sometimes the Persen site does have sales. So if you're interested in something like this, I would shop around just a little bit and kind of see what your options are. I don't want to take away from the quality of it, because again, I really love the piece and I do think it is good quality. But I still just think for what it is, it was a little bit high in price. So I'm glad that I didn't pay full price for it. But anyway, very handy, very cute. The next thing I want to talk to you about is a new holy grail item for me, and I am just really in love with this product. I needed a new eye primer and I wanted to try something a little bit different. I've had many that I liked over the years, from Lorac to Urban Decay to NARS, and I wanted something that was a little bit more like a primer but also had a little bit of color to even out my skin tone. So I came across something that's been out for quite a while. This is the Laura Mercier Eye Basics, and I am using shade Linen. I looked at some swatches online and I felt like this would be the perfect color for me. If you are familiar with the MAC Painterly Paint Pot, this is a very similar color, although this is more of a liquid form, whereas the paint pot is in a jar. And this has been my most favorite eye primer product to date. It is my new holy grail and something that I will continue to repurchase. I just love how it really helps my eye makeup set. Nothing is going to budge throughout the day. I don't get my oily eyelids. And I also like that it really evens out the color. Now, one thing that I will say, well, actually, let me get back to something I was saying about evening out my eye color. Sometimes this is all I wear during the day. If I just want to fill in my brows, add a little bit of mascara and maybe some lip balm and have a really, really simple, pretty much very light makeup day, I do sometimes still like to add a little bit of this to my lids just to even out the color and to keep the oiliness at bay. And this also has a way of just sort of brightening up your eye area and making you look a little bit more refreshed. So that's something else that I like about it. But one thing I will say is that this is a product that you do have to work quickly with. So it does have a doe foot applicator, and you just put the smallest amount. This is going to last me such a long time because it takes so little product. But you just add a little bit to your eyelid, and then I just tap it in, but it does dry and set very quickly. So I would recommend doing one eye at a time, which is what I do. Use my ring finger and just tap it all around. It's not hard to work with, it's just that it dries quickly. But what I really liked about that was it seemed like some of my other primers, even though I really like them, they would take a while to dry down. So it seemed like there was this tackiness for a while that I would have to wait to apply my eye makeup, or even go in and use my hair dryer and dry them. And with this, I can just apply it, tap it in, and I am ready to go. It is dry and ready to work with. So there are other shades with this. This is not the only shade available, so you can find something that more closely matches your skin tone. But again, this is shade Linen, and I don't see that it has a number with it, just Linen. But this is a really perfect shade match for me, and I highly recommend it. Okay, next up is another new product that I have been really wild about, and I have been sort of alluding to this product for a while, and I'm sorry that it's taken so long to get to it, but this is the Redken Quick Tease 15. This is described as a hairspray, a back combing finishing spray. I use it as more like a root lifting spray slash finishing spray. This is replacing the L'Oreal Boost It High Lift Spray. That worked okay, but it had a really strong fragrance that I didn't like. And this has a bit of a strong fragrance, but not nearly as much as the L'Oreal product. Plus, I find that it is just a little bit lighter. It works just as well, gives you just as much lift and just as much styling hold, but it's a little easier to work with. It's a little finer and easier to brush through. It seems to dry down a little bit more quickly. But this casts like an invisible net over my hair. And I'm going to throw in a little example for you just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. But it just does such a good job of lifting up those roots, giving you a little bit of body. And then the other thing that I've noticed is when I spray this on my hair after I've finished styling it for the day, even in the more humid conditions where I live, I will still get a little bit of bounce and fullness in my hair that I would never normally have before. Normally, this may not seem like a lot of fullness, but when you are in a humid climate like this, everything is just straight and pulled down and very, very just limp and lifeless by the end of the day. And to just have this little bit of bounce and everything left after I've been out running an errands and everything is just incredible. So this is something I've already purchased the backup of. It is not something that I want to run out of. I love it. It is a holy grail item for me, so definitely would be something I would recommend. I have got so many new products. I've been really excited to make this video because this is yet another holy grail product for me, something that I really kind of accidentally stumbled upon, and now it's become a new major favorite of mine. This is so simple and probably been around forever, but this is the Jergens Ultra Healing Lotion. Up to this point, my favorite lotion was the Aveeno Sheer Hydration, which I still love, but I wanted something that had just a little bit more hydration to it. Sometimes with the Aveeno, especially in the winter time, and as I'm getting older, my skin's getting a little bit drier, it just wasn't quite enough. I really love how dry that is. It dries down really quickly and leaves your skin very smooth. But I wanted just something a little bit more, and how I ended up finding this was I was looking for just a little lotion for my purse, and I was in the Target travel section and they had this in the sample size or the travel size. So I grabbed one for my purse, not really thinking it was going to be anything special, and I ended up just falling in love with it. It's not greasy, it's not too heavy, it sank in really quickly, but it made my skin feel wonderful. And then what I also really loved about it was the fragrance. I have been looking for a lotion for such a long time that had just the lightest, freshest, tiniest hint of fragrance. I really don't mind fragrance, but if it's something that's too heavy or too much or clashes with perfume, I really don't like it. And to me, the Aveeno products always kind of have a little bit of, they kind of smell like the container that they're in. They're fragrance free, but they kind of still have like a little bit of a chemical-y scent to them. So I kind of like that this is so very ultra light, but it's very, very pleasant to me. And I will caution you that I have smelled all the other fragrances and their other variations of their lotion, and this is the only one to me that smells the way that it does. So it is specific to the Ultra Healing. Now this does say that it is for extra dry skin, but I have, I would say, very normal skin, and this to me is not a super heavy lotion. So to me, it's just a very normal skin lotion. But I can't recommend this enough. I have this big bottle, I have another bottle on my nightstand, and then I have the one in my purse. It's just blown me away, and I love that it was just sort of an accident, but I would totally recommend anyone trying this. And if you're able to go in store and you want to just test out the fragrance for yourself, and you can kind of see what I mean of how very light and fresh it is. But oh, I'm just so in love with it. I look forward to using it every day. Okay, the next thing I want to talk to you about is something that replaced an older beauty tool of mine. I was ready to try out a new cleansing system, so I purchased the Clarisonic Mia Fit. I've had the Clarisonic Mia before, and that worked really well, but it just kind of died on me. But in fairness to that product, I dropped it way too many times in the shower, and it got its use. But I was ready for a change, and I decided to sort of take a risk and try this Mia Fit. I thought it was really cute, but I did have some concerns about how it would work. Would it be comfortable to hold? Would it be slippery to hold in the shower? And I am happy to say that all of those concerns were for naught. This is a great little product, or a great little tool, I should say, and it just works really well. It works with the Clinique foaming cleanser that I've always enjoyed using. It's not difficult to hold on to. It's got the same sort of plastic eggshell type of texture that's on the regular Clarisonic handled brushes. And it's really simple to use. You've just got your on-off button here and your speed button, and it just fits perfectly in my hand, and I can just go around my face, and it gets right down in these crevices and in here around my nose, and I just love it. It's really easy to use. It's got 3 different timing sections, I guess you could say. So you turn it on and you work in one area. So I will work sort of here, and then my forehead and down through this area, and it gives you a little bump to let you know it's time to move to the new place. But I'm really happy with it. It is just really comfortable, and I never feel like I'm going to drop this one as opposed to my previous one. So I really like that. If you are interested in a new sonic cleansing tool, this one is fantastic. Okay, just a couple of more things in the beauty category to get to. So something I've been wearing for a couple of months now that I've really been enjoying. I've noticed I've been moving more and more away from brighter or bolder nail colors. I've been wanting something more sheer and natural. And so I noticed in a magazine ad that Essie had come out with this Treat, Love, and Color line. And I think it's actually been expanded now to more colors. But when I bought it, I was looking specifically for this color, Sheers to You. And what I really like about it is that it does have sheer color, so it is what I am wearing on my nails today, if you can see that, and I will pop in a picture as well. This is 2 coats, so it's just the lightest hint of color. It stays on a long time, and it makes my nails feel really strong and protected. I just really like that I don't feel like my nails are going to get damaged when I'm wearing it, and they just, like I said, feel very, very strong. So as I'm going about things during the day, my nails just feel a little more sturdy than they would when I don't have anything on. And I like that it doesn't peel, and it just has a really beautiful light finish that goes with everything. And this is a pink finish, but I would say it has maybe just the tiniest bit of iridescence to it. And when I purchased this, I think there was one that was sort of a sheer white and maybe a sheer peach as well. And I don't know what the new colors are, but it seems like I saw some new release with this. But I would probably definitely try another one. I would definitely try another one. I think this is a great product. And if you are wanting to have something on your nails to make them a little bit sturdier and maybe just a light wash of color, I would really recommend this. And I did want to point out that it does come in a box like this. It's not an individual bottle. So if it's something that you're looking for, it is with the other Essie products, but it is in a little box. So I just wanted to mention that. And then finally, I have another new Dove product that I want to talk to you about, because it was something that I wasn't going to try and then I decided to. So I picked this up at the store a month or so ago, and this is the Dove shower foam. This is in the deep moisture version. They had cucumber and aloe, and also sensitive, and I think one other one as well. But I've been really impressed with this. I tend to prefer bar soaps over body washes, but this is kind of a nice combination of both. So this is a foaming shower product, so it almost comes out like a little bit of a mousse. And I was afraid that it would be too light and airy and that it really wouldn't give you a nice amount of creaminess or coverage. But it does have a lot of creaminess to it, and I'm really surprised at the surface area that it will cover with just a couple of pumps. And it's also thick enough that you can pump this out onto a washcloth and use that all over. And I also thought that sometimes products like this that are a foam may not go very far, the product may not last very long, but this says it has more than 250 pumps in one bottle. And I've been using this for quite a while, and I still have at least a third to a half of it left, and I use it generously and often. But I really do like this original deep moisture fragrance, which to me is more like their original Dove smell. But I would like to try the other ones as well, and my husband's actually requested this for his shower because he likes it too. So that is something new and nice to check out. Okay, so now I want to get into my lifestyle products, and I've just got 3 of them. And the first one I want to talk to you about is my new raised bed garden. I've mentioned to you that I would always wanted to start a little bit of a garden project, but I knew I wanted to keep it really small and manageable. So my husband found on Amazon this kit. It's called a Lifetime Raised Bed Garden Kit. It comes with 2 4x4 boxes. It's really easy to just snap together, and whether you're working from seeds or seedlings like I was, you can do it either way. So if you're working from seeds and you need a little bit of a greenhouse, it does come with a tent topper that you can put on that will make a little mini greenhouse for you until your plants are strong enough to be on their own. Then you can remove that topper and then just work with seedlings like I did. It was just the perfect size for me. I didn't know a lot about gardening, and I wanted to start small. I knew I needed to keep something that was going to be very easily manageable for me. I didn't want to have a lot of plants. I wanted to be able to weed very easily. And what's great about the size of this is that I can get to it from every angle. So I put it in the middle of my yard where I could access it from all sides. And it's just really a pleasure to work with. It took about 7 bags of raised bed soil to fill it. And I didn't put any mulch on top, which I probably should have, so that would be something else I would recommend, is buying 1 bag of mulch for this. So just to keep your weeds down, help with a little bit of weed mitigation, and to keep moisture in your soil. But overall, it's been just the perfect little setup for me. Right now, I've just put together the 1 bed because, again, I wanted to start out really slow and small. But once I do my fall planting, I'm planning on going ahead and filling the other bed. I want to have more space now that I kind of know what I'm working with and how this is going to go, I'm ready to expand just a little bit. So right now I have green beans and I have tomatoes. They are Blue Lake bush beans and Better Bush tomato plants. So there were a few reasons that I wanted to start with a raised bed garden versus a traditional in-ground garden. One is something that I already mentioned, that I wanted to keep the size small and manageable, especially right now in the beginning. I didn't want to till up my yard. I didn't want to have to bring in additional soil or amendments, and I just wanted to do it in a way that was going to be really nice and neat and simple and easy. And then also I had heard that it was very difficult to overwater a raised bed garden. So I knew that that might be something that would be an issue, especially here in Florida with the amount of rain that we tend to get. So the water can drain down through the box into the ground and really keep that away from your plants so they don't rot at the roots or anything like that. So that was something that was appealing to me. And I also liked that it just sort of kind of kept everything contained, and that I could grow my garden if I wanted to, or I could keep it really small. So as I mentioned, I started off with my one little 4x4 bed, and then I can go to the next 4x4 bed and I could do vegetables, I could do plants, I could do whatever I want. And so I just like the flexibility. I like that I could move it somewhere else if I wanted to. So there were just a lot of reasons that it was a really good choice for me, but this has been a very simple kit to work with. It's held up really well, and it was just sort of a pleasure for a really novice gardener like myself. So that is it for my garden. Now let's move on to a couple of food items. You know I love to share those. So the first one is a snack that I've been a little bit crazy about over the last couple months, and this is my third bag, but I have a good explanation for that. So these are the Ritz Crisp and Thin Sea Salt. I saw these on an end cap at my grocery store, and I was like immediately very curious about them because I love a savory cracker type of snack. And these say they're sea salt, but they actually have a little bit more tang to them. There is onion powder on them, so they're not quite as just a light salty flavor as the name might indicate, but they are still very good. So I bought a bag, I finished it, and then I went back, and then they were on buy one get one, so I got 2 more. And I did notice a little bit of variation in the bags. I felt like some had a little bit more flavor than others. I would actually prefer if it had a little bit less of that tang. I would even kind of like a really true sea salt version of this. But that's not really an option right now. So if you don't like a lot of flavor, that might be something to think about. But I love the texture of these. Let me go ahead and pull one out and show you. I've been eating these like crazy. So it's just a really thin and light little cracker chip. They are so good. Really easy to just keep eating them, I have to say, from my own experience. There is a bacon version and then a couple others as well that didn't really appeal to me. So the sea salt would be one that I would keep repurchasing, but this is very, very tasty. And then finally, I have one other food item I want to talk to you about, something very different that I came across. Kind of a long story, but I was looking at a local restaurant menu and they were talking about some Costa Rican dishes that they specialized in, and they kept mentioning that it had Lozano sauce in it. So I did a little bit of research and I found this Lozano sauce or salsa, and it's very common in food dishes from Central America, specifically Costa Rica and Nicaragua. I used it to make a recipe called gallo pinto, and I will link to that down below if you're interested, but it's a really easy dish to make with black beans and rice, and you can add cilantro if you'd like, or red bell peppers, which I don't care for, but you also put a few tablespoons of Lozano sauce and some onions, and it's just easy, simple, and delicious with this sauce. But then I also found that this makes a really great chicken marinade. I will say this is a little high on the sodium side, which is something I'm not crazy about because we definitely watch our sodium around here. But the flavor this has is so unique. It gives a lot of flavor to chicken and to dishes. I just love it. And once you've tasted this, you'll know how unique it is. There is cumin in it, so I think that comes through a little bit. But there is just such a combination of it's got cauliflower paste in it, it's got cucumber paste, it's got onion paste, it's got carrot, it's got the cumin, just a great flavor punch. So it's really a fun way to add a lot of flavor to dishes. I'm going to experiment with some other things. but loving using it as a chicken marinade, and my husband says that is his new favorite way to have grilled chicken now, marinated in this lasagna sauce. And I should mention, I found this in the ethnic section of my grocery store, so you can check for it there. So that is it. I am sorry it has taken so long to get this video up, but I hope that you enjoyed my first quarter favorites. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye.